Hi, Rob here from the Way Out West Roots Music channel. I'm the president of the Way Out West Music Club. Today I get to interview Darren Jack, Jacko, who is coming down from New South Wales to play at our club Sunday, October the 8th from 2 p.m. It promises to be a great show. Sit back and enjoy the interview, and please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button so I can continue to bring you great videos. Bye for now, and hope to see you at the club very soon. Can you tell us a little bit about your early life? Was music a big part of growing up for you?
Not really. I wasn't the I didn't have really any influences around me or music. I did have an uncle that played a little bit of guitar, and he did give me an acoustic maybe when I was about 12 or 13, but I didn't do much then. So I basically, started sort of mucking around on it. And then it was really at about 15 and 16 that for some reason, I just found an interest in guitar. And I was living with my mum at a place in Cronulla in Sydney. And it was when I heard Robert Cray's Right Next Door Strong Persuader on mainstream radio on Triple M. And I just heard it, and I was just, as I said, learning guitar, and I heard that song, and I straight away ran up to Mum and said, "You've got to buy this album for me, please. It's this Robert Cray guy." And that's where it started.
All right, cool. I've got a Robert Cray question later on, so we'll come back to him.
Yep.
Blues music, it's not the most commercial genre going around. Why and when did you gravitate towards the blues? I know you said you heard with Robert Cray, but
yeah, that was definitely it. And what happened was I got that album and I just fell in love with it. I had a guitar teacher for a little while, not long. He gave up on teaching me theory and just showed me how to learn off the record. So I actually wanted to learn the solo of Strong Persuader. So that's probably one of the very first solos I used. And my mum's boyfriend came around and he heard me playing that album and he goes, "Oh, you'd like Cream and you'd like Robin Trower." So he goes, "I'll bring these albums around for you." So then that was the next thing was I discovered Eric Clapton and Robin Trower. And so by then I was sold on it.
Oh, cool. Now, I was going to ask you who some of your early influences were, but you've got in early there. So cool.
And probably more so, actually, Rob. I heard a lot of English blues because I had a mate by then, and his parents had this. I remember this album in particular, World of Blues Power, and whenever they were out, we'd put on their albums flat out. And it had Fleetwood Mac 10 Years After, Savoy Brown. So that was a huge influence on me. I even ended up, there was Taste and Try Before You Buy. And when I had my band Third Degree, I even recorded that song and called the album Taste and Try Before You Buy. And the other stuff I was hearing too then was Santana, Inner Secrets and Abraxas. They were the main two albums. So that's what I was listening to all at the same time, that particular mix of music, blues music. And
10 Years After were a fantastic band. I remember in tech school in fifth form, and so that would have been probably, I don't know, 1970, 71. Anyway, we all had to go and see a movie for tech school for English. And there was about 10 of us got money off the parents to go and see this movie, but we all went and saw Woodstock instead. We failed the exam, but we saw Woodstock, and I'll never forget seeing Alvin Lee for the first time on that movie.
Going home.
Yeah, it was just amazing. Although he was saddled with that song for the rest of his career. But
yes, that's right. Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about your band Third Degree and where did that name come from?
Well, that came from the Johnny Winter album, Third Degree. So by the time I got in, I did my very first gig when I was 19. So I'm really a late bloomer. So I learned from 16 till about 19 and in the bedroom. And I did my first gig with a band of older guys, and it was a biker gig in Sydney. And, I was 19. And so then I started wanting to, put a band together. And I was with some older guys, and through that, this one particular bass player had two particular albums that I fell in love with. That one was Johnny Winter's Third Degree, and the other one was the fabulous Thunderbirds' Girls Go Wild. And I just went crazy on those two, and learned as much as I could. And still not yet heard of Stevie Ray Vaughan, by the way. So yeah, by the time I was playing with these older guys, then actually formed what would be Third Degree, which is Grant Comerford and Chris Nable. A name was being thrown up, and I just came up with Third Degree because we were a three-piece, and I thought, oh yeah, that suits. And so the rest is history on that one.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've been reading that one of the first bands you were asked to support was Canned Heat. That would have been pretty awesome. And out of the original guys, who was still around?
Fido and Henry. Junior Watson was on guitar. So yeah, only Fido and Henry were the two main guys. But I mean, it was amazing. I had no idea who Junior Watson was then, and that was in 1995, and that was for 6 weeks national tour. So I'd pretty much finished. I'd just done 6.5 years. I'd completed an apprenticeship as a printer. I did 1.5 years as a tradesman, and that came along, the tour, and and off we went. And I left work too then, and James T was on vocals. James Thornbury. So 6 weeks on the road with those guys. And I remember at some point, and we were like up in Broome or something towards the end of the tour, and I remember James T going, "Well, Jacko, you're too far in to get out now." And I just loved hearing that. That was awesome.
I believe Fido Di La Parra still drums with whatever
does
of Canned Heat, and James T, I think he passed away, but he did do a show at the old RSL.
Right, yeah,
he was playing a double neck guitar from memory.
That's right, yeah, made in Sydney, that guitar, and that would have been James T and the Last Volunteers.
That's right, yeah. And he moved to Queensland?
He did, yes. I kept in touch with him quite regularly, and he would often send me gifts in the mail. Beautiful shirts, letters, handwritten letters, and he was just the most beautiful person. And we struck a friendship up ever since that Canned Heat tour.
Yeah, no, he was a great man.
It was.
And you also did a tour, I believe, with Long John Baldry. Did you have much interaction with him?
Well, yes. Well, it was actually 2 nights at the Metro Theatre in Sydney with Third Degree. And that was really cool because there wasn't a lot of people there both nights, and but we did. I mean, we just got to sit out in the change room with him and chat. And I remember he was drinking lots of white wine, and he was a lovely guy. He was really nice. Also, who was actually touring him then was Chesley Milliken, who was Stevie Ray Vaughan's manager back in the day. Before that, so I got to meet Chesley, and I remember this is going off Long John Baldry, but I might tell this story anyway. That on the second night when we were sound checking, the sound guy came down and he goes, "Oh, Chesley Milliken's coming to see you tonight. He's heard good things." He never did come down. I was given his phone number because he had emphysema and he was sick, couldn't make the second show. And I actually had his number and was told to ring him back in the States, and I did. And I said, oh yeah, like, I'm Darren Jack and all that. And he goes, yeah, I know, and all that. And he goes, mate, I'm so sorry. I said, I've got emphysema. And he said, I'm really sick and I can't do anything for you. So,
what might have been?
So that's my Long John Baldry story.
I get a real sense. I've been talking to Ian Collard, and I talked to Rod Payne doing some interviews because they're going to play. And I get a real sense that the Australian blues musicians are like a big family fraternity, that everyone sort of looks after each other.
Absolutely, yes. If everyone knows everyone, and everybody gets on too. I can't think of anybody that doesn't get on with. We're all good friends. I think, yeah, it's a beautiful thing and a big family thing, like you say, definitely.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Are you the sort of musician that loves to play live and to interact with your audience? Do you like to get out and have a chat? And
always. Yeah, I'll always have time to chat to everyone. That's I think that's very important. And if they've gone out of their way to come and see you, then that's the least you can do.
Yep. I asked this question of both Ian Collard and Rod Payne. And I know you went to Memphis in 2013 representing the Sydney Blues at the Memphis Blues Challenge. What was your take on Memphis in 2013?
As far as the competition and
just the town itself. Where did you see the town as regard to its history and?
Well, what I saw was quite run down. But the thing I kind of liked is because I'd never been to the States till then, so loved the blues so much that seeing it like that, really, there was a lot of things that were kind of probably still the same as what you would have seen back in the day. So that was really special, and it was real special to be there for the first time and soak in like what was once the hub of the blues there. So, and there was you could walk around the place and just get a real feel for it and smell it and just like go, wow, this is like this is blues. This is real blues land here. Like this is where they were. They walked. They did it all. That was a buzz.
Yeah. I've been reading Pauline Bailey's books. I've mentioned this in the 3 interviews I've done. The Blues Portraits, great books. And she tells me, we were talking about Robert Cray, and that Robert Cray actually gave you a hug. How did that come about, mate?
Well, I mean, I never would have at that time when I first heard him, and I was actually washing my mum's car when I first heard him, and it would have been 1986 that I would ever be supporting him or meeting him, but that happened, and and it was after Third Degree, so it was probably in the early 2000s, and I actually got booked for 3 shows, but I could only do 2. I was booked for a festival, so I think Ray did Ray Beadle did the last show in Sydney, so I did the Tivoli Theatre and one down on the south coast near Shell Harbour. But the first night, he's my absolute idol and hero. So I've finished my solo set opening up, and actually before that, I should say too that I got to sit side stage and he sound checked for a whole hour, and I sat literally like probably 10 meters away from him on stage while he sound checked, and he was cool with me sitting there on a road case, and he just went through all those songs. I couldn't believe that I was hearing all those songs, and it was in between him coming on that he was in his dressing room, and I was walking up the hall and I saw him in there, and he's with his drummer at the time, which I think was Kevin Hayes, and I knocked on the door, and I said, and I told him that the exact story. I said how I came to, and he just got out of his chair and gave me a hug.
Oh, fantastic.
So that was awesome, and he was so nice, and he would mention my name, in his set. Thank you, Darren Jack. Like he was, he's pretty special for me.
That's great to hear that, that, he's the sort of guy that appreciated other people and he wasn't up himself or anything. He sort of,
No,
some of the blues people have mixed receptions about Robert
that's
Cray,
true.
but I love him. I mean, he's just
Yeah.
such a smooth player, and some of
Oh,
the guitar people say, "Oh no, he should play harder," but no, I don't think
yeah.
so. I just love him.
No, and I've heard exactly the same thing, and that's why I really wanted to express, that my feelings towards him, and I mean, he is absolutely brilliant. I mean, that voice and the way, he's a master of what not to play. He's not all about flashy. I mean, his playing is blues, like that's real blues playing. But he's taken blues, which is which I'm really influenced by, is taking blues to a new place, to a modern place. It's not like taking Muddy Waters and repeating recycling that same stuff. I'm not into that. That's what I appreciate about him so much, is that he's taken that music, he's learned it. He can play down home blues all day long, but he wrote songs and he's putting blues guitar to it, and it's mainstream, and the whole world knows about it now. And they're listening to a guy that's playing blues, even though he's got those other influences of pop and rock and everything. But to me, that is taking the blues somewhere. And like, I'm sure, like Muddy Waters doesn't want to walk into a venue and see someone trying to be, a white guy especially, trying to be Muddy Waters. He would want to see somebody doing something new with it. And for me, that's where Robert Cray's another big influence, is actually trying to do something with the music, learning all that stuff and then doing something with it.
Yeah, totally agree, mate. Totally agree.
We
were very fortunate just before COVID hit. We had Tyrone Vaughan at Way Out West.
Yes.
And you and Roscoe Clark were down in the house. That was a kick-ass show with the twin guitars. Do you keep in touch with Tyrone or?
Yes. Yeah. We message each other every now and again and say hello, and we're always liking each other's posts on social media and things like that. Yeah. So it looks like he's starting to get out there now, and sort of get around and do some tours and stuff. So I hope he keeps going with that.
And and I mentioned Roscoe Clark. What a beautiful man, and what a fantastic drummer. I just recently seen him with Dom Turner playing at Echuca, but he's just the consummate drummer, Roscoe.
He is such a great person and an amazing player, and a lot of people call him the Shuffle King of Australia. He knows that stuff so well, and he's so solid. Yeah, he's really something.
Yeah, I think he's got a bit of a wicked sense of humour too.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, he's great. He's just great to hang out with, and he's just such a genuine guy too.
You released the really highly acclaimed album Lost in Living back in 2021. Is there another album in the pipeline?
Yeah, writing in at the moment. Yeah, I'm actually in the process. I've got 2 tracks written, and I'm actually going to go and write some songs next week, actually, with 8 Ball Aiken, because I've never done that with anybody before. So I'm going to try that for a few songs, and so it'll be a little while, but I want to piece something together that's all mostly original. But so I'll take my time on that department.
8 Ball was at Way Out West earlier this year, so he's a good guy.
Yeah.
I was reading too, in 2022, you were asked to do a tour in the US with the St. Louis legends, the Kingdom Brothers.
Yes.
What were some of the highlights of that tour?
Oh, well, again, being in another place where there's, where blues is so important. St. Louis is a real important place for a lot of people. Famous musicians like Miles Davis and Chuck Berry. So yeah, I got to play some awesome gigs over there. Experienced it. That the guys were great. They looked after me. Every gig was great. And one in particular, BB's Jazz and Blues Bar. That was that's a venue where, I mean, everyone has played, like every up and coming musician, and including Robert Cray was a regular there. And the story goes that at some point they could no longer afford Robert, so he went up into bigger venues. But again, a lot of the places there are still the same. You know, like there's is it Hammerstones? Something, yeah, Hammerstones, and that's another place that I don't think has changed, you know, much at all. So you can still experience some of those places, nowhere near as many as there were, but as they were, and get a feel for it and actually play in them. So yeah, that was really good. And there's a little bit of talk maybe about going back again.
Oh, fantastic. Did you get to go down south at all, or?
Not on that trip, but in 2013 when I was with Roscoe and we were doing Memphis Challenge, we did get a trip down to the Delta with Mark Sallings, who's have you heard of him? Famous Memphis harmonica player. He also played in Albert King's band, saxophone. He also toured out here too, way back, late 90s. But him and Michael Freeman, who's award-winning producer, who won a Grammy for Pine Top Perkins, who became really good friends with. Well, him and Sandra both took myself and Roscoe luckily through Roscoe, because Roscoe played with Mark Sallings out here. So he was able to call Sandra, who's a part of the International Blues Challenge. They both are a big part of that, and on the committee. And they took us down south. So we got to go to Helena, Arkansas, where the King Biscuit Festival is, where Sonny Boy Williamson had his radio show, and went to Twist, Arkansas, where B.B. King named his guitar Lucille, because that was where he was playing in that hall. And as the story goes, where there was the fire, and he went in and grabbed the guitar, and the fight was over Lucille. Yeah, so we got to experience the Delta. And again, that was that thing about smelling it and feeling it. That was awesome.
When we were talking about St. Louis before, I think one of W.C. Handy's first blues songs was the St. Louis Blues.
There you go. Yeah. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're really looking forward to seeing you back at WOW, which is Sunday, October the 8th, which is 4 days before my birthday. So we're going to be having a bit of a party. So tell me, who's coming down south with you?
Well, I'm using Liam Keeley. Everyone's from down there. Liam Keeley, Shane Gilbert on second guitar, and I have to say I don't know the drummer's name, and I've been meaning to ask Liam who's playing drums, but it'll be who Liam plays with and Shane.
It's not Johnny Tresorio or
maybe Johnny. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So it's all their band, and they're learning the songs, and I'm sure. Well, I know I've played with Liam before, and he's fantastic. So that's who I'll be playing with.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Liam's a ripper.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So don't forget, and have you got many other gigs in Melbourne? Where else are you playing that we can let out?
Well, we're just doing the night before at the Guitar Roadshow, John McNamara's Roadshow. So I'm going to do that one. So I'm just doing Saturday and Sunday. I think we did have one in Ballarat, but that is no longer happening. So I'm happy just to come down and do those two.
Oh, we're feeling privileged, mate. That's coming down to way out west.
I'm stoked to be coming down there again. It's been ages, and I love playing there. So thanks for having me back, Rob.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic, mate. Bring plenty of merch, because we're
yes.
Yeah. Well, normally people get to our gig on the Sunday and they've sold a lot of stuff the couple of nights before, and our people are avid buyers of CDs.
Yes.
So
great.
So pleased with that.
Well, that'd be good, because I haven't been down there yet with with the latest release, Lost in Living. So that'll be great. I'll make sure I have plenty in stock. I've got plenty here, so I'm definitely stocked up. That's all good.
And you're flying down or
I'm going to drive down. I live in Foster, so it's a little bit further than Sydney, another few hours. I've done it before. I want to bring my gear so I can be comfortable with everything, and bring an extra guitar, and I'll have my stuff. So that's okay. I don't mind doing a drive. It's a day's drive each side of the gigs, and done it all before for the last 25 years, so it ain't nothing new.
Yeah. And when you say you're bringing your own gear, what guitars do you bring down with you?
Well, I'm bringing my brand new one down that took me 2.5 years to get.
Wow.
That's my new build from Frank Grabisa. It's like a hollow body Stratocaster. They used to make these in the late 60s, but Frank Grabisa builds them. Yeah. So that's what I'm playing mostly.
Looks beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It's a special guitar, and it was actually for my 50th that a mate of mine, FJ, I was doing a show at the Brass Monkey for my 50th, and I had all the stack of guests come in and play. And behind the scenes, FJ and my wife, they went out and had people throw in money towards getting this guitar that I was interested in, but I had no intentions of getting, and would never have asked anybody for money for it. And then when COVID came, money stopped. So I certainly had money towards it, but then I couldn't pay for it. So 2.5 years later, I literally only just got it like about a month ago. So,
wow.
So I'm sort of just starting to get back on the feet again. All the mortgage and everything came first, so just had to take care of all that, and then the toys now.
Oh, fantastic, mate. Yeah, it's not a toy, mate. It's not a toy. All right, thanks for taking the time to talk to me, Jacko.
Thank you, Rob.
Safe travels on your way down, and we so looking forward to seeing you on October the 8th. So
thanks so much. I'm really appreciated. Can't wait.